Hey friends, it's me, Pastor Doug, with another word of encouragement for the day for today, Tuesday, May 18th. And today's word continues our exploration of the idea that if Jesus is my king, well then my past is not my king. Today we pick up in the story of Saul. If you're familiar with Saul's conversion or his story, you know that our first introduction to Saul tells us that he was a pretty dangerous guy to the early church, to the early Christians. In fact, he was a part of the martyrdom of Stephen, the first Christian martyr. Saul was standing there giving approval to these men as they hurled stones at Stephen and put him to death for the simple act of being a Christian. See, for Saul, he was convinced that Christianity was a perversion of his Jewish faith. And so he really believed that these Christians were going around and teaching things that were unlawful for the Jews. And so he, as a Jewish leader, felt responsible for putting a stop to this Christian movement. And so he did that by any means necessary. Murder, imprisonment. In fact, in this story in Acts chapter 9, he had papers from the council in Jerusalem to go to the city of Damascus to round up any Christians who were there and put them in jail. And so on his way, if you know the story, on his way to Damascus, a bright light shone. The voice of Jesus speaks to him and says, Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me? Right? And Saul has this beautiful conversion moment where he actually becomes a follower of Jesus. And then the voice of Jesus sends him to a man named Ananias. And at the same time, a vision from God appears to Ananias and tells Ananias to be ready for Saul. But Ananias has heard about Saul. He knows Saul's reputation. And so listen to how Ananias responds to this vision. In Damascus, there was a disciple named Ananias. The Lord called to him from a vision, Ananias. Yes, Lord, he answered. The Lord told him, go to the house of Judas on Straight Street and ask for a man named from Tarsus named Saul, for he is praying. In a vision, he has seen a man named Ananias come and place his hands on him to restore his sight. I love Ananias' response. So God is telling him, go to this certain house and there's a guy there named Saul from Tarsus and you're going to pray for him, right? And Ananias responds this way. He says, Lord, Ananias answered, I've heard about this guy. He says, I've heard many reports about this man and all the harm he has done to your holy people in Jerusalem. And he has come here with authority from the chief priest to arrest all who call on his name. In other words, Ananias is going, I don't want to go. I know about this guy, Saul. He's dangerous. He's killing Christians. He's putting us in jail. I don't want to go visit this guy, right? He knows Saul's previous reputation. But listen to what God says. But the Lord said to Ananias, go. This man is my chosen instrument to proclaim my name to the Gentiles and their kings and to the people of Israel. Friends, what I love about this is even if you've got a reputation, even if you've got a past, even if you've got nicknames because of who you used to be or how you used to behave or how you used to treat people, God is doing a work of transformation and sanctification in you. And those old nicknames, those old reputations, those past stories that people tell about you are not the truest thing about you anymore. They might be true, but they're not the truest thing about you. And I love this glimpse that we get into Saul's radical conversion where God says, yeah, those things are true, but those are no longer the truest things about Saul. And friends, that old reputation, that old past, not the truest thing about you anymore either. We praise God for that, right? So friends, have a great rest of your day and we'll see you tomorrow.